I'm live. Well, I got a little bit later on here. I'm going to bring somebody else in, and you'll be just kind of generally chatting with people in the comments like we do. And he's a chatty feller, so I'll save him for a surprise for later. And of course, my dog will start barking because I just put him out, and he'll just want to turn around and come back in. But I'll deal with him in a little bit. I'm going to show you a little bit of stuff that I showed you last week, I think it was. That little gem pan that I found. Got that in the lye bath, or out of the lye bath. And no, there's no other markings on it other than that little number 1 on the handle. That's coming along pretty good. Still needs a bit of work. It's turning cold. My lye bath is starting to skim over with ice at night. So, even though it'll still work, the colder, when it gets cold, the lye doesn't work nearly as good anyway. So, I'll dump that one out and I'll set up another bath inside here, a little smaller one inside the house. And I can use that over the winter. But I got most of the stuff I got that I need to stripped. So, I'm in pretty good shape. But I will have to set up a vinegar bath pretty soon to de-rust some things so I can get on with my seasoning, get caught up with that. Let's see, I'll set that down. But yeah, it's coming along real nice. That's a nice little pan. I'm real happy with that. And I'll get a chance to do some, make some gems with my various gem pans that I got. I got the stove going. It's turning cold. It's going to be cold and rainy tonight. And then it's been fairly decent the past few days. It's been up in the 50s. But, it's going to, be cold and nasty here pretty quick. We say hi quick to Ron Thompson. Good to see you. Cast Iron Restore. Always nice. Clyde Beddoe. Loved your movies. Raymond. Hi, Raymond. Fluffy Otter and Bookworm. Good to see you guys. Got a few more people wandering in. We're up to 13 people watching now. Let's see here. I got a big pile of stuff, so I got to come here, you. Trying to manage my stuff here. I'm juggling. If you remember that big broad axe I showed you a while back, I was out shopping around and I found a little brother. That's a broad hatchet. Same sort of thing. It's flat on one side. It's meant for squaring off logs. A little handier than a great big heavier broad axe for small things. It ain't the right handle on that either, and it's pretty loose. And I might be able to rework this handle. If not, I got broken axe handles I always save because I can use them for hatchets and things like that. Do a little bit of whittling and make it fit the opening right. But that'll be kind of handy. Nice to have at any rate. I don't know how that would work for, splitting wood for the stove because it's, probably kind of make things fly a little bit. But I'll give it a try, see how it does. That'll be fun. And that only cost me, you see that? Get over here, $15. So I thought that was a hell of a good deal. Now I've seen those like that, the same shape of head, only it's not a broad axe. It's not flat on one side. It's more of a broad hatchet. It's tapered on both sides like a regular axe. But that's the flat side one. Also, that mystery pan I showed you last week had the real nice smooth finish. It turns out that I was right, and that is, turn it a little bit there, an imported one, 10.5-inch skillet Taiwan, and then there's a 2. That's the pattern number. But that is a really nice pan. I mean, you could tell by all the heavy buildup that it got a lot of use over the years. So, nobody's going to use a pan that isn't any good, doesn't work well. And that, has got a real nice satiny smooth finish to it. I was going to give this to my brother-in-law. I had a friend of his wanted to get set up with a set of cast iron, but I found some other stuff to give them. So what I'm going to do with this, next week, by then I'll have it all finished, cleaned up, and couple of coats of seasoning on it. Next week here on the live stream, I'm going to give this pan away just because I'm that kind of a guy. I'll be sure to mention that again at the end of the show. But this year, some lucky person watching next week's live stream will have themselves a nice brand new number 8 10.5-inch Taiwanese pan. Don't let that put you off. It's like I said, that's beautifully finished inside. That's as smooth as any vintage pan you're going to find anywhere. The outside isn't quite as finished. It ain't rough, but it's a little bit pebbly. But who cares? You're not cooking on the outside of it anyway. And that'll be a great pan for somebody. So next week, somebody will have a great pan. Let me put this somewhere where I can get to it again later. Uh, where was I? Oh, I forget exactly who it was last week. They brought up that they had just got a Chicago Hardware Foundry skillet with the diamond logo, and we're kind of discussing that. And I figured I'd make a little bit of a presentation out of it, show you the logos, what we were talking about. That's the diamond logo. It's a diamond, it has a number in it usually. Sometimes it's a letter. You know, I've seen diamond A and diamond B ones. And there's a little letter outside of it, X. That's the pattern letter. And that's the smooth sided pans. This one's got a little bit of pitting in it. It's kind of rough. I just got it stripped. But I got another one that's that I've been using that's finished. And that's a B letter. You know, trying to get my camera here. Uh, you know, the exact position of the letter kind of varies. Sometimes it's right close, sometimes it's farther away. But that's number 8, and that's the diamond logo for Chicago Hardware Foundry. You know, they're nice finished inside, smooth outside. They usually got a bit of a heat ring on the outside, and they're fairly hefty pans, but they work real great in the oven. I really love them for that. But what Chicago Hardware Foundry is most known for is their hammered ware pans. Some of them have a little bit lighter pattern in it. This one's got a pretty heavy dimpling to it. And the logo on them is a little bit different. They got big numbers on them. They all have a number 8. The number 9 is the size number. You'll see 8.5, 8.7, depending on what size it is. And that number there that's an O, I think. But you see above it, there's a ghost to the top half of 8, just like that one. And a lot of times they'll have a letter after the size number and the number 8. You know, there'd be a C or a D, whatever. But a lot of times there'll be a letter. Sometimes it's 3 numbers, but there's always a number 8 in it. And then the last one is the size number. And you see they're big numbers. I mean, they're like an inch high. So that's how you identify a Chicago Hardware Foundry hammered ware pan. And like I said, they're best known for this. I mean, you see a lot of the hammered ware ones. And, you know, they got a real nice deep pattern on this one. Like I said, there's some that are a lighter dimpling pattern on them, but they're generally big dimples like this. And I've seen you know, Dutch ovens, all kinds of different products that Chicago Hardware Foundry made with the same big dimpling on them. But that's what to look for if you're trying to figure out if it's a Chicago Hardware Foundry or not. I don't really have any of their stuff made later on. They were a business from the late 1800s, you know, like 1895, 1900 or so, up till about 1935, 37 in their late 30s when they went out of business. But in the early 30s, they bought out the tooling and the patterns and the brand name from Favorite. They bought the Picoware line, and you'll start seeing. And when they did that, they kind of changed the logo. It looks like a Favorite smiley logo, or the stylized logo rather, but it says Chicago Hardware Foundry above it. And instead of saying Picoware, it says Favorite Cookware. And there's also a few that have dual logos on them. If I ever get some of them, you know, I'll show you that sort of thing. But, you know, this is what people are talking about when they say Chicago Hardware Foundry. So inside, anybody else here I didn't say? James Ramsdell, good to see you. Dehydrating cilantro, huh? Ron Thompson, you've seen one of them someplace. Yeah, they're not really rare. You know, they're not common because they went out of business in the 30s. But you see them out there, and you know, a lot of people don't really know what they are because they don't have a name on them. You know, collectors know what they are, and now you know what they are. So if you see one, for a decent price, go ahead and grab it because they're nice pans. I mean, like I said, they're a bit heavy and they're well made. Let's see here. Check my comments quick here. Take a sip of coffee. Let's see, good finish. Dehydrate and cilantro. Yeah, I dehydrate a lot of stuff. Especially like mushrooms. A lot of times you find mushrooms on sale. I just slice them up and dehydrate them. They're great for making sauces and all kinds of different sort of things. Dehydrated blueberries. Yeah, I dehydrated a bunch of blueberries earlier too. I froze. I got a what was that, 10 pound or 20 pound box? I forget. Got a big box of blueberries and froze half of them, and the other half of them I dehydrated. Fluffy. No surgery for at least 6 months. Well, that's good. It's always nice if you don't have to get cut open. Let's see. Okay, now I when I did that lead testing video, is that what I'm looking for? I showed you this old kettle, and it had been painted. And this is the last thing I put in my lye bath. Lye will sometimes remove paint pretty good. Sometimes it'll barely take it off at all. It depends on the paint. There's really no way of trying it, or of telling whether or not it'll take it off until you try it. The problem, of course, is you end up with paint in your lye bath when you do that. So since I'm going to be dumping out that lye bath out on the deck anyway, I figured I'd throw this in, and it really took the paint off good. Did a real nice job of it. And it turns out that it's kind of hard to see in this light. At one time, this was plated. There's a little bit of, remains of plating on it here and there. You can kind of see. And this is a really old Wagner. They call that the ARC logo. They use that from, 1891 when they started off up until about 1910. And that's the number 8. There's also a straight logo. They call it a Wagner block logo. It's the same lettering, only instead of being an arc like that, it's a straight line. And they use that at the same time. So if you see a Wagner that has, quotation marks around it, get a little closer, you can see a quotation mark before it and after it. That's what it's from. It's from, about 1891 up till about 1910. There was some overlap. They'd always use up their patterns, but generally speaking, that's when they did it. And this you can also see right where the Wagner is. You see kind of a butter mark. That's where they filled in the old lettering, smoothed it up and repunched the letters in the pattern. That's fairly common, either when they would change the logo, or in the case of this, most likely what it is, the pattern was starting to get worn and the lettering was getting a little dull and blurry looking. So they fill it in and repunch the letters in the pattern. Like I say, you can see kind of an outline. Runs from there over to about there. You see a little bit of an outline where they filled in the old lettering. And a lot of times on favorite pans, you'll see kind of an outline around the outside of the logo, especially like the smiley logo and the stylized logo ones. That's because favorite, rather than filling in and repunching letters, they would make their logo on a little plate that would be inset in the bottom of the pattern, and sometimes the outline of that plate will show. And that's kind of cool because the lettering wears first, rather than the big flat areas on the pan. The edges of the lettering will wear from getting the sand packed around it when you're making the mold. So rather than reworking the entire pattern, they just pop the old plate out, put a new one in, and they're ready to go. And you see that on a few other brands too. I think Martin Stove and Range had the same thing, only I think theirs was like pretty much the entire bottom of the pan, and it was a plate that set into the bottom of the pattern. And there's one famous skillet, they call it the Monday morning skillet, where the logo plate was put in upside down on a pattern. And they made a bunch of pans from it that day. And according to the owner of Martin Stove and Range, he knew right away what it was because the casting foreman came in that morning. And he was hung over, sick as hell, and setting up the patterns for the day's production. He screwed that one up. At least that's the story behind it, and it comes from the guy who owns it, so it's probably accurate. But anyway, these flat bottom pots like this, that's a flat bottom kettle, are pretty handy because you can use them on a modern stovetop nowadays, and or you can use them in an oven, they'll sit flat on there. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one finished and used because I got a plan for that. I have another one that's just about like it. Actually, I was going to show you this one too. With the regular cauldrons with the feet on them, they can be kind of tippy if you set them in the oven because the feet never really want to hit the rack and they'll want to tip like that. They're not too bad on a stovetop usually because often they got enough feet that they'll kind of level out. But these are best on a wood stove where you can take the eye out and set them right down into the stove or hanging them over a campfire. But the flat bottom ones, are handier for the modern conveniences. And let me set that there. I got another kettle just like it. And I don't think that one was ever plated, but this one's a little bit newer. And it has suffered the fate of a lot of cauldrons and kettles. Somebody drilled holes in the bottom of it for using it for a planter, which ain't bad if it's cracked, but there's nothing wrong with this one. This isn't cracked or anything. Somebody just decided they wanted a planter worse than they wanted a pot. So I'll probably be able to weld them in or braze them in, get it fixed anyway. But that's a little bit later logo. They call that an arc straight logo. It still has the Wagner like on the original one, but they put Sydney O underneath of it. And they use that from about 1910 up until 1918, 1920 in there somewhere. And that's when they started using the stylized Wagner ware logo that most people are real familiar with. But yeah, except for them holes in the bottom, that's a nice little pot too. And I even have I figured out which lids will fit this because I'll need a lid for this when I use it. And my number 8 Lodge lid doesn't quite fit. It's a little bit big. It doesn't sit on there very good. But I've got a lid. That's a Desco-ware lid for a Desco-ware enamel Dutch oven. And that fits it just perfectly. So I got a lid that'll work on this when I put it to use. Anyway, I'll set that aside. And that over here. And that kettle, if you recall, once I get to 40 channel members, somebody's getting that kettle. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, even if you don't use the kettles for something like that, I've got a couple of them sitting over there that are full of spatulas and such. The holes make me cringe. Yeah, I got it dirt cheap because of them. It's not so bad if you have a cracked kettle or something like that and you can't really fix it, to paint it up and drill holes in it, use it for a planter. But yeah, it's a real shame when somebody ruins a perfectly good kettle like that. I tell you what, I'm going to pause here for a second and let my dog in. And when I get back, I'll bring in my guest for the evening, and he ought to be fun. Let me stop the cam. There we go. Mute myself, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm coming. I'm coming. Don't go leaving. I'll be right back. Now, you settle in, you silly dog. All right, start my cam up again. There I am. All right. My guest tonight, he's been on my show before, and it devolved into complete and utter chaos. Swore up and down I'd never have him on again, but he finally managed to talk me into it. It was the first stream that I did, which is good because nobody actually saw it, so it wasn't too bad. Anyway, a man who needs no introduction, here he is, Grampy Lobster.
Wow,
I give
that
him
that was definitely a wow. Good thing I wore a tie. Uh, I'm sorry. I want to go. I want you to go back. I want to see that giant axe. I want to see.
oh,
It's. Are you the execute? It's like that's something they use to execute people with. That's not a. Oh my God, that's a violent weapon.
oh, you betcha.
Holy shit! I was watching like true crime videos earlier, and they were talking about this one guy that used axes and hatchets and stuff. And oh my god! Hi, Brenda. How are you? And Prairie Queen. Uh,
Yeah, that's quite the axe there. I mean, how could you possibly turn down a chance to get something like that?
yeah, that is a rather handsome. That's a heck.
Yeah, that isn't exactly the right handle for it. It fits pretty good, but the handle should be a little bit offset. So
Who's
when you're
this? Who's this dude? Oh my God, Valhalla.
this is uh this is Grampy Lobster. He's
Titian Audi 145. How do you pronounce that guy's name? That person's name?
a Shinoto
Oh,
no two.
who's that? Who's that on his avatar? Is that a quarterback? Is that Tom Brady or is that?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
It's hard to say. You can only see a one in a white helmet.
oh, it's a white helmet. Oh, it's probably a football team that sucks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. The great Peyton Manning. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. We're gonna have problems, Mud. We are.
Well,
The,
Grampy's been out east long enough that he's more of a Patriots kind of fan. So
yeah. Mac to the future, man. Uh, anyway, so I'm sorry. This isn't sports. So what's going on, Mud? That's I'm gonna Strange Doll. Wow.
Dang, no, yeah. Nothing much. I mean, I've been working off and on. It's been kind of chaotic with that, so I'm never really quite sure if I'm actually going to be able to do a live show because the company I'm working for now, they got a lot of work, but none of the places they're working for have quite pulled the trigger on getting started on things yet.
Yeah.
So even though there's a bunch of work on the books, nobody's getting underway. So I've been working a few days here, a few days there, doing little rinky-dink stuff basically. But
Do what you gotta do.
oh yeah, it's kind of nice because this time of year, I've always got 25 things to do that I need to do before winter, but there ain't no way in hell they're going to get done.
Yeah.
Like we were talking before the show, I'm re-insulating the ceiling in my laundry room. I'll be able to get that done, but and that'll make a big difference because I was losing a lot of heat through there. Because when I built it, it's actually I just boxed in the end of my porch and made it into a laundry room. And when I put the ceiling in, I put a layer of 2-inch styrofoam and then sheeted up the ceiling. So it's got some insulation regardless. And then over the top of that, between the studs and the ceiling, the joists, I put regular fiberglass, and it's underneath the porch roof. But I didn't cover that over with sheeting. And over the years, at one point, my porch roof leaked, and the cats have been up there, and they pretty much between the leak in the roof and the cats making a home up there, it pretty much ruined that fiberglass insulation. So it wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't doing anything for insulating really. You know,
So
so
when does the weather start getting like arctically cold in Wisconsin?
uh, anytime from yesterday until Christmas, you know, usually November is a bitch. I mean, 25 degrees, wet and windy in November feels a hell of a lot colder
Oh
than
yeah.
20 below and still in February.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it starts getting cold in November, but it's not usually too bad until about Christmas. I mean, there are big cold spells, but it's usually January and February are the worst of it.
Oh
When you
yeah.
when you get the highs below zero for the day. But yeah, so what I'm doing now is I pulled out the old fiberglass insulation, and I got a bunch of odds and ends of styrofoam I saved from work, half sheets and things like that. And I'm building that up with styrofoam in between the joists, and it'll be pretty well insulated by the time I'm done. And I also, got some, half sheets and partial sheets of OSB chipboard, and I'll cover over the top of that so it doesn't get destroyed again.
Okay, I just figured out that name. Me and You Acres or My and You Acres. I was sitting there like that's a name. I
Yeah,
yeah I phonics folks.
and there's more to it than that. It's Mike and Angie, so
Oh, okay. Well,
it works on a whole bunch of levels. Set my axe down.
so where did you pick that up?
It's at an antique shop. There's a town up the road from me, and there's a antique shop there. They got a bunch of different dealers in there, and one of them had that. It's actually a woman. She's one of the owners of the place,
Yeah.
and she usually got quite a bit of cast iron stuff too. So I've been dealing with her for quite a while, and she had that, brought that out and said, "Hey, you're gonna want this." And I said, "Yes, I definitely want that." So that's
Oh,
I
of
think I paid
course. I
seven,
mean,
75 or $85 for it.
Tishin uh, Tishin Odo 145. I mean, with that, I agree with you. Said you look like the manliest man in the world in that Carhartt shirt. The Carhartt shirt and that big fucking axe.
Yeah,
Um, damn. I mean, I mean, there's testosterone just and iced coffee, right?
yeah, just cold coffee.
Cold coffee.
Yeah, and Brenda, she'll warn me before the cold weather gets from North Dakota to Wisconsin because they usually get blown through first before it gets here.
Uh,
But
it's gonna be.
at least around here we got some trees to break up the wind. We don't get the constant 40-mile-an-hour breeze like we do on
Yeah. Last year's winter out here wasn't bad. It was the mildest winter we've had since I've lived out here in 11 years. And this summer was actually the mildest summer that we've had since I've lived out here in 10, 11 years, which probably means that this winter we're just going to get shit on with snow. You
uh,
know, I mean, I have a strange feeling that it's just going to be, you
yeah,
know,
get hammered. Yeah,
yeah,
the summer around here was kind of odd. It wasn't really super hot. I mean,
yeah.
it got in the 90s fairly often,
Well, I
but
felt,
it was constantly humid. I mean, it was
yeah,
just so damn humid all summer long. I mean, you get 1 day, 2 days maybe where it was halfway decent, and then you could hardly breathe again. It was so humid.
yeah. Out on the West Coast, I mean, I got friends out there. They had that really bad heat wave, and people are out there, and you know, that was weird because the heat usually out here, and the humidity in the summertime, and we really didn't have that much of even a heat wave out here this year.
Uh,
Um, Oh God, it only snowed any measurable amount a couple times. I mean, very not often. This year we are just going to get. Uh, we're in for it this year. I have a strange feeling, but you know what, Mud?
But
I'm in a position where I don't have to shovel snow,
yeah,
and I live in an area where we can have stuff delivered.
yeah,
So even in a snowstorm, you can get a cheesesteak delivered. You know?
that's always good. Yeah, I can't get anything delivered out here other than UPS or the mailman. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm a pretty good way out of town, and ain't nobody gonna come out here in the middle of winter
Oh God, I missed that.
just because I want a pizza.
Yeah.
Prairie Queen had a heavy wet snowstorm in Manitoba, so
Those Manitobans, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They talk funny. You ever talk to Prairie Queen? She's got a real. She's first thing I noticed when I talked to her the first time is you can tell that she's from Canada. Um, she's got that true Canadian accent. You know, she can't fool anybody. uh,
yeah. Oh, you're in trouble now, Grampy.
what did I do now?
Shinodo is checking out your channel.
Oh man, I'm screwed. Oh man, yeah, oh
So,
geez.
so am I, because now you'll see me on your channel, and everybody know what I really get up to on the internet.
Well, yeah. See,
Hey, yes.
and see that's the. You're not the only one. There's other people that come on my stream that actually don't use foul language all the time normally, or talk about really stupid shit, you know, and stuff. But it's kind of a break where you can come to my stream sometimes, and Mudbrucker can turn on his potty mouth,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I usually keep it, relatively PG-13 around here.
yeah, no, I get it, and I've got a foul mouth, and there goes the neighborhood. Yep, Prairie Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah, jeez.
but I am a construction worker, and one of the classes at our union training center is
Yeah.
construction English. There's a language I want my kids to learn.
Construction English.
Yeah, well, it's meant for people who English is a second language.
Right.
Teaching the terms and lingo involved in various types of construction. But
Yeah. Teach them to say things like "Mamacita," "Shake
yeah,
that money maker," um, "Hey, hey, hey." I don't know. I don't want to come across as some stereotypical. You know, I mean, English as a second language can be tough, folks.
like how was that? It wasn't Cheech and Chong, just Cheech, born in East LA,
Oh yeah.
got got himself trapped in Mexico and wound up having to teach a bunch of Chinese guys how to pass for Mexican.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, gotta.
But,
Chinese.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Years ago, Track Rock built a cabin with an axe, broad axe, and adze and a slick. Yeah, I reed wood and shingles with a froe. I don't have a froe or an adze. I want to get one of these days.
A fro. You mean like an app, like a.
A froe, it's basically kind of a long blade, not used
Oh.
to half. Uh, it's like a long blade with a loop eye on one end, and the blade going like this. Then it has a handle that goes through the eye,
Oh.
and you use it for splitting shingles. You drive it through the shingle, and then you use the handle to pry it apart.
Wow. Things that I would never
Yeah,
own.
yeah.
I am not handy with tools. There's
Yeah.
a reason people do certain things for a living.
And an adze, that's kind of like a wood cutting hole, almost. Kind of the easiest way to describe it. It looks like something between a hole and a pickaxe. Only the blade is, instead of an axe blade running vertically, the blade on an adze is horizontal, and you chop down with it to, flatten off the top of the
Sure.
log.
Mud, we all know that you use all those to chop up the bodies, you know.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary before I came into your room tonight about things that have happened in Wisconsin, you know, crazy things. People with axes and yeah, it's I don't know. And then I see you with this axe at the beginning of your stream, and I'm like, sure, he sounds like Tom Bodette, folks, but do you ever see, I don't know. It kind of makes me nervous. Mudbrucker with not one but two hatchets, a big one at that.
Yeah. I have a deep lake out in front. And
Yeah, and he's got a lye bath, and he's got all
miles
that electrolysis thing, so he's getting women to come to his house under the pretenses of having electrolysis done, but he goes, no, 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 and he pushes them in there, and then they fall into the lye bath, and then he chops them up, and he uses them for fertilizer, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you out there like that, Mud, but somebody needs to fucking tell somebody.
I know. You just make it harder and harder for new victims, don't you?
I know you come across so friendly and knowledgeable and everything, and I think that's what, I mean, they'll find you one day,
Is an adze also a matic? It's pretty similar. I mean, it's pretty much the same sort of a tool, only you use a matic for digging dirt, but an adze is a little bit different shape, and it's made for, chopping wood, for, like I say, it's for flattening off the top of a log mostly. But it's real similar sort of a thing. I could probably say you hand cut every shingle on your roof and didn't lay them, although about a third of them you did. Yeah, it's quite a chore. You got a big pile of cedar bolts and splitting them down into shingles. Blue collars that come, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, bent on a square handle. Yeah, that's an adze. I say, I'll probably find one of these days that's worthwhile. They got a real kind of weird curve to the handle to them too, so that you hit it at the right angle.
So is that a left-handed or a right-handed axe?
It can be either one. Really.
Oh, really? Wow.
Depends on which way the handle is bent and which way you put the head on the handle. You can flip it over one way or the other, so you can work down the left side or the right side, or if you're right or left-handed.
Well, I'm just saying that because it would be a horrible thing if somebody was just to go purchase, an axe and they're right-handed, and say, for instance, they get to their house and they realize that, oh shit, I bought a left-handed axe, I mean, and all sales are final,
Yeah.
So now you've got to learn to switch it with an axe, I mean,
it ain't easy. I mean,
because those bodies aren't going to chop themselves, folks.
Yeah. You always put the wrong foot forward, and you end up chopping off your own toes, and nobody wants to do that.
Hey, I don't know if I've bought shoes before that were a little bit small, and I thought to myself, if I just lop off my toes, I'm sure these shoes will fit just fine. It's just an inch or so. I don't know.
Well, if you ever cut your toenails, you probably go down two sizes on your shoes.
No, they're not. God, I saw a picture the other day of this man and this woman that had fingernails that were like, God, 6 feet long and all white,
long and curly, and
it's like. Oh, geez, that's just, I get it. Some people like, women like their nails done or like long nails or flashy nails. But me, I have no nails. I've been chewing my nubs since I was a kid. But it's called anxiety, folks. But just watching the people with, and I admire people that have fingernails that don't chew their nails. But it's a lifelong habit, folks. But I'm old enough I can have them, and don't judge me, folks. But the people with I remember this lady that came to my house one time when my kids were little, from the school or something. She had this clipboard. She was taking I forgot exactly what it was, but she had like 6-inch, 7-inch fingernails, right? and she was right. She had a clipboard. She kept like going with her nails on the clipboard, but she could still write with her finger. It was she had to like maneuver her fingers away so her fingernails didn't get in the way. It was like really weird, but
Yeah, I mean, how would you even hold the pencil, or a pen with fingernails that long? I think in the comments, but
yeah. Broad axes to me looks great as a decor hanging on a wall. Very rustic. Well, yeah, you wouldn't expect somebody like Mud to just keep his weapons of choice, just hanging around the house. You get tired of ripping off nails? Well, stop stealing the nails then.
yeah.
God, God, you
Plus,
get tired of ripping off nails? Oh, ripping nails. Oh, I thought he was shoplifting. Oh, I
shoplifting.
thought Ron was a shoplifter. I thought he was out there stealing.
Fuss Bucket found a BSR chicken fryer and matching lid for $15 at a thrift shop. Yeah, I mean, like I say, you haunt the secondhand stores. You'd be surprised what you can find.
Hey, what was that pan that you had earlier? Kind of looked like a muffin pan or a cookie.
Oh,
What do you?
that guy.
Yeah, what are you making that like tarts or?
Yeah, they called it a gem pan. They were big. From like 1850s
Yeah.
and 1950s. And you make little like tea cakes, muffins.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You can use it for a biscuit pan, although
yeah, true, true,
regular biscuit pans are usually a bit deeper.
yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna do a little once I get that all cleaned up. And I got another one that isn't quite in reach. It's a different style. They're kind of like half cylinders.
yeah.
2 rows of them, and I'll do some baking with them once I get them both seasoned up, and probably use them in the wood stove. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of
Oh,
wood stove cooking.
Toshidi Odo. He just watched the segment where Mudbrucker joined my stream last night, Mr. Lobster. Okay, first of all, this Mister stuff, it's Grampy Lobster. Okay, I I get kind of offended because I know I'm probably older than you, but I am not a role model. I do not deserve the title of Mister. You just call me Grampy or Lobster or something. It's kind of offensive to people who have actually gone out there and. Anyway, never mind. Thank you so much. If you don't forget to subscribe, folks, and stuff and things.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Oh, Brenda Bodwin. Oh goodness gracious, she's a biochemist. You know, wow, flaunting your, Brenda.
And a road builder.
Yeah, I gotta, Brenda, you're out there, you're flashing your, credentials and your cred and everything. Brenda, I don't want to brag or anything like that, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've got some community college behind me. I gotta tell you. So, I'm just letting you know, I do have a little bit of community college behind me. So, you speak fluent construction worker too.
Oh yeah. It's a language to its own.
Shake it, don't break it, baby. Or is it more like tool talk, like the lingo that they use, or is it?
It's a little more like that. And, most of the sites that I've been on, there's not really anybody to catcall wandering by. I suppose if you're, in New York or something, where you got actual people.
Oh, we had this place at my doctor's office. This medical center I go to. There was this lady. God, I forgot how she's over 100 years old, right?
Yeah.
She comes in there for her little Tai Chi every week, and she likes to tell jokes, and they're really filthy,
Yeah.
not suitable for your stream. And by Lobster Man. I'm sorry, did I run off Leon Connolly? By Lobster Man. Oh, I don't know. Exclamation point.
You might have other things to do. A lot of people.
Oh.
Have,
But she was telling these really It weren't appropriate for your great grandma to be saying, somebody that old, and but it was funny because she couldn't see 2 feet in front of her, right?
Yeah.
And and then she was talking about these. I guess they added some construction workers outside where she lives or something, and she likes to, admittedly, she likes to catcall the construction workers,
Yeah.
and she was really upset because one day she like I guess she sits at her window or something or at her door and like Googles at them like Googles at them all day, which is both cute and or kind of I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cute too. But she was upset because they didn't show up one day, right? So her whole day was just screwed up because the construction workers didn't come by. I don't know. I just thought it was.
It's not surprising we get catcalled because, pretty much all of us construction types are damn handsome people.
Oh yeah, you get a big. You get it's a different crowd.
Uh,
When that's what I learned. Um, oh God, at the time, I used to have a lunch pack for me every day, and my wife at the time would put in little Debbie snack cakes. A couple of those with my lunch and everything. And that's what I learned that people would call that jail food.
yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, you got. He goes, we like that jail food, right? And I'm like, what is that? And he goes, the little Debbie snack cakes. Because apparently they had a contract at the city jail or something. I don't know. But he goes, it's like, God, a lot of people remember things from their childhood, right?
Yeah.
Things getting reminisce. This guy sees the little Debbie snack cakes and he reminisces about being in jail. But it's like, yeah, man, it's jail food, man. I'm like, so this is what, over 25, probably 30 years later, close to 30 years later, and I still just can't remember that. Every time, we go and get some little Debbie snack cakes or some Drake cakes or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like, it's jail food. It's like, and I don't know why, because it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like people who know how to juggle.
Yeah.
Every person I've ever met that knows how to juggle learned how to do it killing time in county jail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah. I've.
So yeah, somebody says, "Hey, watch this," and starts juggling. Ask them, how long they were in for and what. 6 months for drunk and disorderly. Yeah.
But well, at least they learned a trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who says now you can be a juggler and people can throw food at you? Because if he's a juggler, he's probably a meme too. Or a mime. And
Yeah.
God, that just. I remember seeing a mime juggler one time at King's Dominion outside of Richmond, Virginia. They'd have these mimes running around with the little black and white, like French, like French mimes or what do they call them?
Yeah.
And I just remember we were there. My daughter was little. She didn't want to get on any rides except for a couple ones at the Scooby Doo land and everything. So the whole day was kind of like, oh, great, let's go watch her. Again, doing a little boat, and so. Anyway, there's these mimes walking around and stuff like that, being annoying because that's what mimes do.
Yeah.
And I just remember watching this guy. This guy was like doing a mime thing to him and his kid or something, trying to entertain him. And the guy just looked at him and says, everybody hates mimes. Get the fuck away from me. Or something like that. It's just like, I'm like, no, I get it, man. I mean, mimes are creepy and everything, but dude, the guy's making probably minimum wage, he's a private contractor or something like that. He's trying to make $10 for the day. He just fucked his day up. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was gonna be a better story than that, but mimes.
That's all right. They can't all be winners.
That's true.
Let me see here. See if I missed anything important in the comments.
I had to alter the spelling a little bit to keep YouTube at bay. Yeah, I see what she did. Brenda is. It looks more like, hey, dumb. Oh, that's some creative.
Yeah,
Brenda is. Wow, I like that.
that's
That's
pretty much it.
yeah.
You would be surprised though. Some of the things that get discussed over lunchtime on
Oh,
construction sites. During the summer, you'll have a lot of guys talking about gardening and canning. You know, you wouldn't think so, but at least around here anywhere, because most of us are country folk,
yeah.
so we do a lot of that sort of thing. And
In the wintertime, it's where we're storing the bodies and
yeah, and towards fall, starting about September, you start getting into more bow hunting and deer hunting, things like that. But it's surprisingly civilized at times, and sometimes it's far worse than you could possibly imagine.
yeah. Well, I think we've all been in one of those areas before where.
Uh,
Uh, when's my next stream, Mr. Lobster? Tishanudu, you're really starting to irritate me. Haven't I? Didn't I explain the whole? It's not Mr. Lobster. It's Grampy Lobster. Hell, you can call me Patrick. I don't fucking care. But the whole Mister thing, I am not a role model. I don't deserve the. Uh, and Mister too. I mean, I identify as a crustacean. My preferred pronoun is lobster. He's calling me Mister. He's assuming that I am a cis lobster. Oh my gosh, we're getting into that stuff. But I am a transgender lobster. So the fact that you called me Mister, boy howdy, I am really upset now. And you might even get a lull suit for assuming that I identify as a male lobster. That's just, my God. Some of the people in your chat are really rude, Mud. I got to tell you, this is. I demand an apology. I want a public apology. I want it in. Oh my God, this. How do you pronounce that name? Is it Japanese? And I know that's probably going to sound really bad, and it's probably something. Tishinodo, is that how you pronounce that?
Shinotu. Shinotu.
Shinotu? Is that
Yeah,
a family name? Is she Chinese or Japanese?
that would be a Japanese name, actually.
Okay. Okay, well, Kanishiwa. Um, but still, no excuse. Um, okay, Grampy, settle down, Karen. I love watching Karen videos. I really do.
Uh,
Folks, if you ever feel like your life's not going so well, if you ever feel just down in the dumps, if you ever feel like, geez, you just maybe not, just identifies as a female lobster. Hey, we're worth more money. You know what I'm saying? There's a gender wage gap with lobsters too. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with that one. So
anyway, me and you acres, that reminds me. They're trying to get monetized. They got plenty of subscribers, but they still need some more watch hours. So what I've been doing the last few days is just clicking on one of their watch lists in a different window and letting it play while I go about my business for the day. Just inflate them numbers a bit. So
yeah,
if anybody else has a chance, you can do that too.
someone caught a cotton candy lobster in Maine. Guess it was an albino. 1 in a million. Yeah, there was a giant. I forgot how many pounds this lobster was. Not too long ago, somebody had caught it. It was over 20 pounds. I mean, this was a humongous old lobster, right? And it had been caught on a trap, or somehow it had been. And somebody tried. They tried to sell it for charity or something, or like send it somewhere.
Yeah,
And they ended up just releasing it because they couldn't get anybody to, I mean,
yeah.
but
Well,
they ended up releasing it. But they,
yeah,
yeah, a lot of different colors. They had one not too long ago that was kind of a red and blue, or I mean, it's like cats. When
yeah,
kittens are born, you got like a little sprayed with this and that and all over this stuff. Okay. Grampy, just call him to shit no nut until he gives you respect. That's right. Shit no nut.
Yeah, I think I sent you a link to something a while ago with all these different weird colored lobsters they'd
Oh yeah.
had been caught. Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
It's
blues, greens, some that were half one color on one side and a different color
oh
on the
yeah.
other.
I've always seriously I do want to know when Patrick's next drink. Oh, now he's doxing me. Now he's using my real name. Who
Oh,
is
no,
this?
no. You said he could use your real name. Don't go getting all.
Oh, he took me.
Oh,
Since when does anybody take what I say on the internet seriously, Mud? I mean, gee whiz.
Grampy streams pretty randomly.
Yeah, it's. I'm on Grampy time.
Yeah,
I'd like to have a specific time or date or something, but I don't know. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing it and stuff, And then if you feel
yeah.
like you have to do it, then
Sometimes he'll start streaming at 2 in the morning, and
Oh yeah,
you
I've
know,
come on at 3 in the morning. I've come on at 7 o'clock in the morning. I've come on at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've come on at noon. I sent you a knife wielding lobster a while back. Oh, I saw that, Prairie Queen. Yeah. See, you don't fuck with you don't mess with. I'm trying to watch my language, Mud. You don't mess with lobsters because we will cut you, folks.
or pinch you real hard.
Well, yeah, we cover knives too. Hey, Robin. Oh God, you want to speak about somebody? See, this is somebody else that Robin Eaglesong's in his side chat. She's somebody else that comes across as this like sweet person, and everything. She'll come into these rooms and she's always all sweet and nice and everything.
Yeah,
She comes in my room, Mud, and she cusses like a sailor. She's got a filthy, filthy mouth.
yeah.
It's filthy. It's. She needs to find the Lord. She really does. I mean, because Jesus will wash that. Oh my God. Grampy must be wearing his police uniform because he has the camera off. Thank you for your service. No, it's just.
Darla all red. Thanks, guys, for a Wednesday live different. Yeah, I mean, there was some cast iron early on, but we kind of just wandered around a bit here.
We cast it off fair.
Uh,
I told Mud that I promised I would try to be better, and I didn't. Okay, I'm not as stoned as I was last time.
yeah,
But, yeah, Robin. See, oh, yeah. Robin's in there going, good to see you, Mud. You don't see her like screaming, and she's got a foul, foul mouth, and I've wondered. I mean, you know,
them filthy-minded old women, though, they're a hell of a lot of fun.
I know, but you know what? I'll bet you her family doesn't even know what kind of filthy mouth she has. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody needs to let them know. But anyway, how you doing, Robin?
yeah.
Robin held sailor English lessons.
I was going to say something, got sidetracked. Yeah, anyway, we're going on about an hour here. So, what did I do with that pan? There it is.
That was funny, but so far off. I'm paying the cheesy joke fee. Da 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 da. See? Wow, you got a super chat. Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, see, Grampy was on, the very first stream I did.
Yeah.
And, it was just kind of a test run. And I think only, 4 other people saw it.
I
So,
I didn't understand that you that this audience is okay. Robin's here and Prairie Queen's here, but and maybe somebody, but this is not the well.
it wasn't as bad as all that. There was a couple that, were a bit concerned that you were a little bit too rough in your language, but
Yeah, no, I know.
most people took it pretty positively.
Well,
So it was no
some,
biggie. Like I said, there wasn't a
sometimes
lot of people that saw it.
sometimes my mouth gets fucking nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just like with Robin, and I blame Robin Uh, because I didn't used to curse on the internet until I heard Robin started doing it,
Yeah.
and she,
You know, she's a bad influence.
yeah, she is, she is.
You know,
I
her.
have the thickest skin. Grampy is my favorite guest by far. Oh, isn't that sweet? God, he's still a Peyton Manning fan. Jesus Christ. Papa John's, you know. Hey, Nationwide is on your side.
But anyway, well, we've been going at this for an hour, and I usually try to keep it to about an hour. You know, and I'll talk to you a little bit here once we wind things up, Grappy.
Oh, no problem.
But you know, and we've got 22 people watching. We've been up and
Wow.
down all night, and that's usually what I get. You know,
This is
20 to
wow.
30. So you didn't scare off too many people, but you probably attracted back as many as you chased away. So
4-day homestead. You've got older brothers with Navy mouths. You're fine, Grampy. You know,
you know,
we
Grappy comes from a Navy family, and he was in the Army. So
yeah, and I got to tell you, you know, the one person, even my father, he wouldn't cuss around my mother, right? After my mother passed, my father's mouth got really filthy, but but yeah, my mother. If I was like if my mother, even on her deathbed, probably would have got up and slapped the taste out of my mouth if she heard me saying anything, you know, that wasn't, you know,
yeah. And I got to say thank you to Brenda for the $5 super chat. That's always kind of her.
absolutely. You'll be able to pay the mortgage this month.
You
You
betcha.
keep them revenuers off your heels, you know.
Yeah.
Hide that still that you've got. I'll rear my ugly head next stream of yours, Grampy. Oh, okay. I never cussed until you were 40. Oh, wow.
Well, you know, it's them late converts that are often the most.
I know it's the ones that learn late, and they figure that they started so late they have to just use every word,
Yeah.
every you know.
Make up for all the years they missed, so they really throw it.
Yeah, I mean, Robin curses like she's got Tourette's, and I'm really sorry if somebody took offense to that, but just you know, there had to be something off color for me tonight. So
Anyhow, yeah, like I said, we'll wrap her up here. Go check out Me and You Acres. Give them some watch time. And like I said, you know, I've been just running their playlists separately, and you know, I've seen most videos already, so I can just. I'm not really missing anything, just letting them play on their own.
you never
And
cursed until you had kids.
kids will do it to you too. And thanks for the next $5, Brenda. That was real nice.
Wow.
Anyway, like I said, next week I'm going to give away this nice little skillet. It'll be all finished up by then. See how nice and smooth that is? It's made in Taiwan, but that's going to be a hell of a good pan for somebody. That'll cook just beautifully. And I'll just, not quite sure how it'll work on, you know, a comment picker on a live stream, but I'll pick from whoever's watching, whoever leaves comments. You know, probably write them down and do a little drawing at the end, maybe. You know, we'll figure out something. I'll get it figured out by then, anyhow, how it's going to work. Do something that's fair and equitable, because
Get one of those bingo ball tumblers.
yeah,
Have some people like guess some numbers and
you know,
stuff.
'cause you know, you want to do it fair so it doesn't look like you got your thumb on the scales.
Wow.
But anyhow, yeah, this here would be up for grabs. Give that away. You know, I'd say get a little closer there. Get turned to my camera right.
And
10.5 inch skillet.
It's a good self defense weapon,
Yeah,
not only for cooking, ladies, or anyone, folks. It can it might save your life in time of a home invasion. So sometimes just
yeah.
yeah.
Anyhow, yeah. So we'll wind everything up, and if you like what's going on, hit the like button. If you don't, well, it's Grampy's fault.
Yep, that is my
And
fault, folks.
subscribe. Go have a look at Me and You Acres. We'll get them to where they can start getting dollars from YouTube. And you know, because
Oh, geez, me and
they're
you
looking
Acres is starting with that grumpy lobster. Oh, I mean grampy lobster stuff. See, people are always trying. Next, she's going to be threatening me with butter. Oh, you got another $5. I think Brenda's trying to make points with you there, Mud.
Oh, Brenda's a wonderful gal.
Yeah.
Been around for a while. Watches some of my stuff.
I don't know if you got my email or not.
You're right.
Won't risk your cast iron on a burger. Will take your baseball bat.
Well, or a 9-iron, baseball bat, 9-iron. You
Yeah.
know, something. I 3-wood.
Right.
You know,
Anyway.
I mean,
I better settle. I'm going to take you out here, put you in back, because otherwise we'll keep rambling on.
fine, great. Oh God, thanks a
'Cause
lot, everybody.
I do the same thing to him. I drag out his streams needlessly
Maybe
long
you're on
too.
the
So
screen right away.
anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up and thank you once again, Brenda. You want the kettle or the corn pan? Yeah, I'm gonna give away that kettle, and it wasn't a corn pan. It was a little griddle, a nice little gate marked, real super light. You know, about a 9-inch round griddle. I'm gonna give them away if I ever get to. I think I'll aim for 35 channel members. You know, hopefully get there sooner than 40. Still at about 21, 22 right now. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. We had fun with the Grampy. You know, kind of wandered off on various topics, but that's always good for a break. And I'll be back next week with something interesting. I'm going to be doing some wood cook stove videos over the next few months. I'm going to try to get my first one going here sometime this weekend, get it filmed. Maybe do a couple of live streams cooking over there. That's always fun. And I think the first one I'm going to break out my cast iron wok again for the cook stove and try something on it. Got a little better with that. And anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Like, subscribe, join if you have a mind to, and I'll see you all next week. And stick around. Be sure to be here next week because somebody's getting a new frying pan. And there it is. Not yet. And